In this video, I'd like to talk about the power supply. So the power supply that I have before me is the GW Instec GPS-4303. So I went online just to find some information about this power supply. And this is what I found. And of course, there's a lot of information here, but I'll just focus on a few things. So if you look here, we have a table that is provided to us from the manufacturer. And of course, the reason why I do this is because I want to use it safely, and I wanted to use it properly. So this is why I went through this research. So there are a few models. So there is the GPS-4303, next GPS-4303, and finally the GPS-2303. So ours is this one. It is the GPS-4303. So it's important that it's important for me to be able to identify which part of the table that corresponds to the power supply that I have. So the portion of the table that would correspond to the power supply that I have is this one right here. So this power supply has 4 channels. So there's this channel 1, and then it has channel 3 next to it on the right. If I go to the left, it has channel 2 and channel 4. So these channels, that means this power supply can supply power from 4 channels. So that's what it means. And the channels are a little bit different. So one of the first things there is a setup, of course. In order to be able to properly use it, you need to properly set it up. And so it's important to look at the panel here, the interface. So it does have a screen. So if I turn it on, so this button to turn it on and to turn it off. So it has a screen and displays the voltage and current. So you can see right here, voltage current and voltage current. And if we look here, there's a switch, channel 1, channel 3. So I can channel 3, channel 1, channel 2, channel 4. So this will allow us to see on the screen the power supplied by the channel. So when I switch this up, I get the display on this side for channel 1. And if I switch it down, I get the display for channel 2. On this side, it's the same thing. If I switch it up, I get the display for channel 2. Switch it down, I get the display for channel 4. There are other buttons. So perhaps you're used to a simple power supply where you have a single knob and a single display. This is a little bit different. So there are other buttons here and knobs that we need to know what they're there for. So one of the things is that this power supply, even if you apply power, it doesn't mean that you're going to get immediately power from the channels. There's another button here, and it's output, and it says on off. So if I press on the button, you see there's a green light. that means you're going to get power from a channel, where, depending on where you're getting the power from. And if I press it, the green light goes off, and that means you're not going to get power from wherever you want to get the power. So that's a safety feature. And there are other buttons. So there are two other buttons here: independent, series, parallel. I'm not going to get into the series and parallel, but I'm just going to work with the independent for now. So if I press this one, for example, I am in series mode. If I press both of them, I am in parallel mode. So both of them are depressed. You see here? Depressed, depressed. So you're in parallel mode. If this one is unpressed and the other one is pressed, we have a series mode. So pressed, unpressed. When both are unpressed, we're in the independent mode, which is the first one. So independent mode means that the channels are independent from each other. So let's start with channel 1. So I am connected to channel 1, and so this connection here is connected to, so these two terminals are connected to my multimeter, and I'm going to measure the voltage, the minimum and maximum voltage for each channel. So to do that, notice now I'm not getting any power from my channel because there's no light here, so this is off. So I'm not getting anything from here. It doesn't matter what the reading is, I'm not going to get anything here. So I'm going to turn on my multimeter, and since I'm measuring voltage, I need to press on this button right here. DC voltage, direct voltage, okay? Because I'm measuring direct voltage. And you can see here, I get V on the screen, at the top right. So that means I'm gonna be seeing a voltage reading. So I'm not really getting much here because this has not been pressed yet. So since I'm connected to channel 1, I need to make sure that my switch here is switched up channel 1. And the knobs for channel 1 are this for voltage and this for current. So you have to be careful with the current because that can be harmful if you have too much current. So so again, I'm in a safe mode here because this is off. So I'm not going to get anything from here. So what I will do right now is I'll turn this knob to get some voltage, and this has to be green so that I get so that when I'll turn this on, I'll actually get something. If it remains red, I'm not going to get anything. So you'll notice that in a sec. So I'll turn this knob, and you'll notice I get voltage, but this is still red. And that's because there's barely any current. So I'm just going to increase this a little bit until it becomes green. There. Now it's green. So 2.9 volts. Just to be safe, I'm not going to increase it more than that for now. I'm just going to turn this on, and you will notice right away when I press this button, the values change on the voltmeter or multimeter, which is reading voltage. So notice, unpressed, and when I press it, you notice a change in the voltage. So here I'm getting 3.04, which is different from what I'm seeing here. So there could be different reasons for that. The multimeter is probably more accurate because I've done a test where I've done this before, and I believe the multimeter is probably more accurate. But for the time being, that's not our purpose, is to see which one has the more accurate reading. But it's just to demonstrate how this power supply works. So now what I'll do, I'll bring the voltage all the way down, and you notice that both of them, now the voltage is 0, the reading on the power supply is 0, and it's almost 0 at the multimeter. And now I'll slowly increase it, and you'll notice an increase in the voltage. So the minimum obviously is 0, and I'll increase so that's my maximum. So I'm at the very, very far end, 29.6. So the reading here I'm getting is 31.53. Okay, so it's a little bit different, as I said earlier. Let's take a look at, if we look at the bottom here, if I can get a focused look, what does it say? It says 0 to 30 volts, 3 amps maximum. Okay, so what does that mean? It means the range for this channel 1, the maximum that you can, the minimum that you can get is 0, and the maximum that you can get is 30 volts. However, we're getting, the reading here is 31.537, and the one here is 29.6. So that's the nominal voltage that the manufacturer has provided to us. Okay, so you won't experimentally. So the experimental nominal can be different. So that should be expected. Now, I would like to turn to channel 2, and channel 2 is similar to channel 1. Okay, if we look at the bottom of channel 2, we have 0 to 30 volts, 3 amps. That's the nominal. It means that the minimum that you're going to get for channel 2 is 0, and the maximum is 30, and 3 amps maximum. So now I'm going to turn to channel 2. Notice here I have this switch. It has to be at channel 2, not channel 4, so channel 2. So now you're going to get here the reading for channel 2. Now what I'm going to do, so I'm connected to channel 2, my multimeter is connected to channel 2, and so I want to be in a safe mode. So I'm just going to turn this off. My knobs are all the way down. That's how you should always start. So I'm just going to turn this all the way down. Notice here I have red. That means I'm not getting anything. And now I'm just going to turn this up a little bit, and then I'll start increasing this a little bit. Notice now I'm at 2 volts. So I'm just going to turn this on. Now I have red here. I have red. So it has to be green if I want to get a reading. So I'm going to turn this on. So it's still red. So that means I'm not getting anything. So I'm just going to increase a little bit the current. And now I see green. Okay, and now if I turn to my multimeter, I get 1.97. And again, if I turn this off, it goes to almost 0. If I turn it on, it's 1.9. Okay, and the reading here is 1.9. Reading here, 1.97. So, so the minimum, if I go to the minimum, I get 0. And here I get almost 0. So that's my, the lowest, the minimum for my range. And if I increase it slowly, it's always a good idea not to jerk things and to move things, to change the range like dramatically. It's always good to change it slowly, just in case something wrong happens. It becomes easy to adjust, to make adjustments. So I'll go all the way to, there we go, 31.9. So if we round this off, we get 31.9. Okay, so this this channel, the multimeter reading is a bit more in agreement with what the power supply is displaying. So that's my range. It's 0 to 31.9. That's experimental. Now remember, earlier we were looking at the nominal values. This is the manufacturer's nominal values. So it's not exactly equal to the experimental. So it's important to know that. That's true for instruments as well as electrical components. So I'd like to now turn to, so I'll just turn this off for now. So now I'd like to turn to channel 3 and channel 4. So to do that, I'm just going to connect here, channel 3. So if I take a look at the nominal values for channel 3, it's right here. 2.2 volts to 5.2 volts and 1 amps max. So the thing with channel 3, you don't have a current knob. You only have this knob. This is the knob. This is the only knob that you have. Okay, and it's red now, so I'm not getting anything. And so I'm going to have to change the switch. Okay, so I'm at channel 3. Notice this is channel 3. And the switch up here, it has to change from channel 1 to channel 3. So up here it's channel 1, down here it's channel 3. So now I'm gonna turn on this. So because I'm all the way down here, so I'm not gonna get much. And so this is the minimum, right? Notice, remember, this is the minimum. 2.2 to 5.2 volts, but I'm showing 2 volts only here. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this on, see what I get. I'm actually almost 2.2 on my multimeter, so this is probably not an accurate reading. So I'm going to slowly increase it, and we'll take a look simultaneously on the readings. So I'm slowly increase it all the way up. So we got 5.1 and here 5.45. If we take a look again at the nominal, 5.2 volts. Okay, so this is probably more accurate. So I'm probably 0.2 volts over the nominal. And that is not a strange thing. That could happen because there is a tolerance. There could be a difference between the nominal and the experimental. So I'm just going to turn this off to be safe. I'm going to change this. I'm going to go to channel 4 to make measurements. So come here and make measurements, channel 4. So let's take a look at channel 4. Right under here we have nominal values. It says 8 volts minimum, 15 volts maximum, 1 amp. So that's a nominal. My knob is all the way down, as it should be. And I'm ready to make readings. So The channel 4, just like channel 3, only has a single knob. Unlike channel 1 and 2, they have two knobs, one for voltage and one for current. So I like to turn everything all the way down just to be safe, even though I'm only connected to channel 4. So now I'm going to turn this on. So, oh yes, remember, and one more thing, there's a switch here. So now I'm at channel 2, I have to bring it down to channel 4. Now I'm going to get a reading for channel 4, and I am actually getting a reading for channel 4. This is 7.4 volts being displayed. And I'll take a look at what, even though here, under here, I'm getting 8 volts. I have an 8 volt for the minimum range. I see 7.4 here, and I'm just going to turn this on just to see what my multimeter says. My multimeter also is saying 7.5. But here, it's 8. So again, remember, the nominal and experimental can be different. So, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to increase slowly the voltage, and I'm going to take a look simultaneously at the display here. So I've reached my maximum, so I can't go any further. And so I'm getting 15.6, and here also 15.6. So that's the maximum, is 15.6 and not 15 like what's displayed here.